All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the August community meeting. I can't believe it's August already. Mary Kay Lamro, Executive Director of Ridgefield Main Street. Thank you for being here. A couple of announcements and things going on before we get started. Just wanted to say thank you for a very successful Main Street Day, where we sort of celebrated our 10-year anniversary and told some stories about how things got going. Mayor Ron sort of stole the show with some of the things that we were going to talk about, but it was nice to be there. We love that event is growing, with the library joining us to celebrate the anniversary of their new building, and also merchant participation with some specials that were going on. And you can really walk around downtown and pop into different stores that had, Main Street Day special promos. So it's a really nice day. It's a family friendly, just a small sort of celebration where we get to celebrate downtown. So that was a lot of fun on the second Friday in July. The next event for us coming up will be the Wine Walk, and that will be on November 2nd. That will be in connection with the city's Make a Difference month. And once again, we'll be working with our nonprofit community organizations, giving them an opportunity to talk about their organizations while they help us out put on a very successful wine walk, which is just an event again that we love and the merchants love it. And the merchant participation for that, having 15 different stops downtown, it has been really popular, not only for attendees to go into new stores and discover new areas, but the merchants really like the different sort of customer contact as well. So we love that. On the Main Street side, Rogine and I attended our quarterly meeting in Centralia last week. I've said before that all the executive directors and some staff members and board members meet quarterly at a different city or town in the state, and it was Centralia this quarter, and we had a great meeting. It's always good to collaborate with other directors. We hear from our Main Street coordinators. There's usually some focused learning situations, and it was just a great visit. Coming up on Tuesday, every 2 years, every Main Street community gets a progress visit from our Washington State coordinators, and that is happening here on Tuesday. So not only will we have our Washington State coordinator, Brianne Durham, but a representative from Main Street America. And we have separate meetings with board members and committee chairs and staff. We do a downtown tour. So on Tuesday, we'll be running around saying hello and showing off downtown Ridgefield. Brianne especially loves coming to Ridgefield. She just has been really excited to watch the growth and the development, both of the organization, but the merchant involvement. And it's just, I'm pleased and proud. And we do a wrap-up board meeting at the end of the day. And it's a really positive time and great reinforcement for the work we're doing. And again, to be able to show off our downtown. We are also still working on the tax credit program. Again, that is where a Washington State business can invest in the Main Street community and receive a tax credit in their B&O tax account. So we are working to communicate with businesses both in and around town and the area, anyone with an interest in especially downtown Ridgefield. And I think that's about all I have for right at this moment. With us this morning is School District Focus. We have Joni Jacinto. Wow, I really
That's fine. Joni Jaquinto.
I was so focused on introducing Dr. Jenny Rodriguez. And we're going to hear from both of them, and thank you both for being here. Thank you so much.
No, you're totally fine. It was funny, we had a conversation about, because I feel like we heard Rodriguez, but I was like, I think it's Rodriguez, right? Yes. Rodriguez. Yes. And so we were like, there's no better time to learn the appropriate pronunciation than that piece. But I too have had, I don't have a very easy last name, and it's okay. I think my husband goes as Mr. J at middle school, so it works pretty well. Yeah. So, so happy to be here today. So many friendly faces. I've been coming to this meeting for since I took over this role, and now it's fun to get to come to talk to all of you guys. But we have to let Dr. Rodriguez go first, because otherwise I'll just keep talking and talking and talking. It's kind of the the woman of the hour. Like, you know, she is new here in Ridgefield, now lives here, obviously. She just moved here. She previously was in Yakima. That was the last district you worked for. And then before that in the Tri-Cities. So has kind of worked in every single capacity: secretary, teacher, principal, now superintendent. And she's just positive, a force of nature, and just so happy to have her. So if anybody else would like me to give you introductions later, let me know. Right?
She can be bought with good coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to tell a related Main Street story before I start. So when I knew that the job, I knew I was going to be looking for a superintendency. That was kind of my next step. But I've always felt like it has to feel right. There has to be that vibe that fits. Not just like, I'm not just going for a job. I'm going for, this is kind of life. And my husband and I knew the Ridgefield job was going to open. And so I was like, well, we should take a trip over there because we've never been there before. I've been to Battleground, so I kind of knew what it might look like. And so we came on a Saturday to visit, which turned out to be the November Wine Walk Saturday. And we're walking around downtown. There's all these people, and they're all smiling. And I was like, this is the funnest community ever. And then I saw all the glasses, you know. So it was a perfect introduction. So the like Main Street kind of got me here, Mary Kay. So we're all connected, right? So Joni already talked a little bit about my background, but I wanted to share some photos with you of my history. So I did start as a elementary school secretary. I had a life before that. I was a retail manager, so I worked in stores. And then I was a paralegal, and I worked in private law practice, and then I actually worked for the county prosecutor's office. And there came a point in my life where it's like, it feels like I'm at the tail end. Like everything bad has happened to people, and then I'm involved. And I really thought, I want to be upstream where I can maybe prevent some of these things happening to folks. And one of those just moments where things came together, and landed a job as an elementary school secretary. I was an attendance clerk, so I was the one who would call and say, why aren't you here at school today? Right? Best job, such a fun job. And, but not enough of a challenge, I think, for me. Super fun, but I knew I wanted to do more. So I went back to school, got my teaching certificate. I taught middle school, which I don't know how y'all feel about middle school, but God bless middle school teachers. I have always loved going to school. Middle school is the only time in my personal life that I was like, ugh. And it's just a hard age to be. And so I felt like, I don't think I'm gonna like middle school, but I went and did a practicum as part of your teaching credential. You go and spend some time. And I was like, these kids are so cool. They're so fun, and they have such energy. And so it turned out that was where my first job ended up being, was at middle school. And I'm so grateful because you learn so many great skills working with that age group in particular. And then I went on as a founding teacher at the Delta High School, which is a STEM co-op, kind of like a magnet program in the Tri-Cities that works with all 3 school districts there. The Pacific Northwest National Laboratory. We had a lot of connection out to Hanford contractors. So we're going to hear later from Joni about CCTE, and that is very near and dear to my heart. I spent a decade at that school working as a teacher and then as the principal of that program. So a lot of the things you're going to hear today are also things that really attracted me to Ridgefield School District, because I felt like, this is the work. Like, this is what I really appreciate, is these connections to community and industry, and opportunities for students to see that world and not just be in a classroom. Because sometimes for some kids, that's not the thing that connects and motivates. After being a principal for a while, which I loved, as probably my favorite job, I moved into central office. I was a principal supervisor, worked at the secondary level primarily, so most of my background is in middle and high school. Did a lot of work around dual credit, early college entrance, those kinds of things. And then was the assistant superintendent in Yakima, overseeing all things teaching and learning, which is a huge umbrella. It's curriculum adoption, It's assessment systems, it's professional learning communities, it's principal supervision. It's all the things when you think about school, it's all of that stuff. It is where my heart and passion is really in that instructional leadership arena. And we do all the other things, all the safety, all the operations, keeping the buildings running. We do all that in service of learning, in service of students learning. So I just wanted you to see, I've had a lot of fun over the years, as you can see from some of the pictures, and met a lot of amazing people along my journey. What I have learned from having sat in so many different seats in public schools, in that system, in that organization, is that it takes everybody. It takes everybody from the attendance clerk to the custodian, to the bus driver, to the teacher in the classroom, to the principal, to the folks at central services even. And I know that's not always what people think, but it takes all of us. It takes you guys too. It takes strong community partnerships for this endeavor to really work. And so these are many of my new friends in this picture. It's our central services team on the upper left, and then there's some pictures of our principals. That one with the gentleman with the hat, some of you probably know him. That's from Industry Day, so you're going to see some additional pictures of that when Joni shares, and then of course some pictures from graduation. Our vision as a school system is that we're going to ensure every student, regardless of background or circumstance, is cared for, challenged, and inspired to reach their full potential. I'm going to tell you that this is the vision statement that I've inherited, and I like it, but I would like to take it a step further, that they actually do achieve their full potential. The world of teaching and learning is not like it was when we all went to school. We went to school in a time when it was like, well, I taught it, and they learned it if they wanted to. They learned it if they did the thing, right? That's not the world we live in anymore. We have to ask, did they learn it? If they didn't, it's incumbent on us as the adults to figure out how we need to teach differently, how we need to connect differently for students. They're children. The responsibility is not on them. We're the adults. The responsibility is on us. So we are likely going to be moving forward with some modification of this work, and I will be back to ask you to be a part of that work and to help with thinking about what do we want our school district really to be about as we move forward into the next decade. I have developed, in partnership with our school board, some initial goals for me. So these are not goals for the district. These are actually my superintendent entry plan goals. Really strengthening the governance team relationships, which is the board and myself are the governance team of the district. We held a full day retreat in July, which was a lot of fun to just spend some quality time together and talk about how we're going to work together. I'm also really interested in strengthening stakeholder engagement, enhancing communication. I've been doing a series of one-on-one meetings with all of our leadership, principals, assistant principals, central office, every member of our central services team, several of our contractors that we work with. And one of the things that is coming up again and again is communication, transparency and communication. There is a real concern in this community that the district has not done a good job of that. So I'm very interested in addressing that. Gaining a deeper understanding, obviously, of our strengths and challenges to make sure kids are prepared, but also of our organizational challenges. No surprise to anyone in this room, 7 failed bonds. We have roofs that are like 50 years old. So there are definitely some organizational challenges as well in the operational department. And then serving as a role model for staff and an advocate for personal wellness. I'm not so good at it, but I try. I try to have some semblance of balance. I try to take rest. And I am a real stickler about when people are on vacation, they're on vacation, and myself included. So when I'm on vacation, Chris will be around. So, because we all deserve a break. So these are my commitments that are also embedded in that entry plan. Really, it comes down to 3 things. First, it is all about relationships. Everything in life, honestly, is about relationships, and that includes our work lives as well. Secondly, I'm very committed to creating a culture of collaboration, transparency, and trust. I'm transparent, sometimes to a fault. I will err on the side of sharing more than I should, and sometimes that gets me in trouble, y'all. But I would rather be as honest and forthright as I can, because that's who I want to be in the world. And the third thing is I'm very passionate about student success. I love visiting with you all, but my smile is never bigger as it is when I'm in a classroom with kids. They are truly like, they're the candy. They're the rainbows and the sunshine in this job. And I just love being a part of their lives. Whoop. There. Oh, here we go. I wanted to share some pictures. Oh, there we go. I got to come the last week of June and go to all the fun. It's the very best week to be the superintendent because there's the parade and there's the Careers on Wheels event and the industry fair and graduation. And I got to feel like a celebrity the whole week. It was so fun. And I got to see lots of adorable little faces. And I have this in here because we should always remember this is why we're here. And there is an urgency to the work. Kids only go to kindergarten for a year. We have one shot, we have one opportunity. We only get them for those 13 years and maybe 14 if they're in the preschool program. So sometimes folks say, gotta go slow to go fast. And I understand all of those and I try really hard. But I also know the urgency of our kids. And they can't wait for us to take 5 years to figure it out. So we have to act on the things we have to act on and take the time on the things we can take the time on. Here we go. These are also some fun pictures from June. I got to go to a choir concert. It was so fun. And then these are some pictures from industry fair. You can see the smiles on the kids' faces when they have this opportunity to showcase what they're about, what they're passionate about with their learning. I'm so impressed with our robotics team. Those kids work harder than a lot of adults I know. So they are out there. They won a float award in the 4th of July parade. Like, they are committed to this community and to getting that messaging out. And really, I just kind of want to wrap up with a reminder of, again, why we're here. And we don't always have all the answers. I know, having a doctorate, people think I am an intelligent human being and I'm a good problem solver, but I don't know everything. I'm wise enough to know there's a lot I don't know. And that is why I rely on partnerships and collaboration so that together we can solve the big problems and do the hard work for the benefit of our children. And I know often with superintendents, we have a short shelf life, but I want you to know my goal is to be here. I got to see these preschoolers get their preschool certificates. I want to be here to see them walk the big stage and get their high school diplomas. I'm not a person who likes to move. I don't like to move. I like to be rooted. And so I chose this community to root myself in. And I hope that over the years to come that we will get to be great friends and great partners and do a lot of great things for our students. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Joni, who's going to give us a CCTE update.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, maybe you can thought of a couple things when you were talking too about one of our favorite coined phrases in the office is teamwork makes the dream work. Hopefully that's also true in many of your offices or in the work that you do, because it's absolutely true. Nothing's better than if I can help somebody else succeed, whether it's a coworker, a student. That's what makes my soul sing is that piece. And then I think we may have found a complication song with your Eminem reference to, so potentially, opportunity. So CCTE, that is Career, College, and Technical Education. So previously, that used to be home ec, automotive, all of those things. And there's still a flavor of all of those. Now, instead of calling it home ec, where you've got sewing machines, we have foods. And we still do, some schools have automotive, our district doesn't because it kind of depends on the desires of the team. But let's see if I can play the video. Maybe it just will play. So this is an intro video that actually our CAPS students make. I'll just give you the preface on that. The CAPS is our profession-based learning, which is the Center for Advanced Professional Studies. They created this actual video. Let's see. Thanks for the assist.
Yeah.
Yes. Is my sound on?
What is the benefit to students that take CCTE courses?
Students who take CCTE courses are able to learn project-based learning and problem-based learning, work with their hands, and get real industry skills experience. Students most enjoy when they love that they get to work with their hands every day in class.
I joined CAPS because I wanted to have a more professional outlook, especially with me trying to pursue my career of going to the Naval Academy.
Are we ready now? Okay, 3, 2, 1. My design class in particular is it's an enjoyable class where we learned a 3D model. Any job that would involve drafting or CAD work is something that they can directly apply the skills from this class.
What I'm doing in here kind of translates to what I want to do after high school, so the welding that I will learn in here will help me later down when I do it there. Learn like a whole bunch of different types of welds, how to weld, different angles, and it just applies to, let's say you break something like a chair, you could just weld it up.
When it comes to CCTE, there's something for everybody. Everyone has something they are passionate about, and these courses offer avenues that deepen your skills and understanding. There are plenty of creative outlets and ways for kids to show their strengths. We hope that you have a better understanding of what CCTE is and will use this information in the future.
That little treasure is on the website to advertise to students, but also to anyone that's coming to kind of try to figure out what is CCTE. So what better way than for the students to kind of create that for themselves. So that was actually a project that Mrs. Gould, that Tiffany Gould had for the students, because she wanted to kind of better describe and show what CCTE is. Let's get back into, I know. Yep, you're there. You just click slideshow at the top. Right next to share. Right there.
Okay.
He's like, yes.
Really?
That's okay. I know it's different because PowerPoint is one way. That's my never-ending struggle with Microsoft World versus the Google World. I know. Yeah. I'm like, but I know how to do it in this system. How do I do it here? So these are all of the different CCTE pathways. We've got arts, technology, communication. The next slide is kind of going to show you those too, but that's our digital design, animation, photography, all of those classes. And then we've got business and marketing, we've got leadership that kind of falls into that category as well. Engineering and computer software. So we've got drones and computer science. So the other piece that's really interesting about CCTE is that there's a governing body for them, and that's their advisory. So we are always seeking out people that have an expertise in that area that might be interested in helping to define what coursework we're going to offer, because people that are currently in the industry are really more of the experts in that avenue. So they look at the frameworks, which are gigantic. It's like 80 pages of what are all the specific things that we're going to teach our students. They are deciding what kind of courses we're going to offer. So if we want to, like this last year, or this next year, we're offering digital design 2 and animation 2. That was directly because that's what the advisory thought that needed to happen. So that's kind of the unique piece about this education, that it really requires that outreach, and then there needs to be connections to business. It's by design. They are supposed to have work-based learning in the classroom, so that's guest speakers and presentations, which kind of will there's actually I'm going to pass this around too, so you guys can kind of fill that out if you're interested. I will share this presentation with you because there's some fun videos that you can access later if you'd like. You don't have to get an email from me, but there's also a QR code for a survey that we've created to kind of capture your interest in participating in this, which I guess I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here, but that's okay. So let's see. Oh, that's how it works. So what I was listing off for you, these are all the different courses that fall into each category, and we can see how well I did at coming up with them off the top of my head. And then family consumer science, baking, health is one of those interesting classes that kind of falls into CCTE, one of those things that you wouldn't really know. Different from health sciences, which is the more advanced health, where they're following the planet, or the, what is it? PLTW, I can't think of the, thank you, that's it. That curriculum. And then skilled and tech, which is our construction, our machining, all of that happens in those different categories. So hopefully, oh, I guess that's why, because my QR code comes later. That's okay. Okay, CAPS update. So I already alluded to CAPS, the Center for Advanced Professional Studies, and one thing that's important to note, and actually Mike Bomar is a perfect example. He was one of the people that kind of vetted this program back in the day when they were launching the CAPS network. He went out and checked out the campus over in Kansas City, and it's a very robust, I actually haven't seen that location, but I did get to see the campuses in Utah. This is a nationwide network, and they now are at 100 different school systems that participate. Everyone kind of does CAPS their own way. Like, it can look different. For some people, it might be one period. The way that we always have done CAPS is that it's a 2-period block. So typically at the end of the day, 5th and 6th period, not at the high school location. Originally, it was down here in the portables over by Union Ridge. And then we had the opportunity to build out a beautiful facility over at the Wisdom Ridge campus. And so that happened with our alternative learning environment. And then also in the afternoon, our CAP students went there. So it's a really amazing program. And the benefit of the network is that you basically can, you get all kinds of ideas from the greater group of people. Like, what are you doing that's working? Anyone in the network is willing to share what their struggles have been, what their strengths have been, and everyone's willing to let you come in and check out kind of what they're doing. We even got the opportunity to do that this year with Forest Grove School District. And it's fun how it happens, right? It's just like super organic. There was a company called Old Trapper that was at a conference. They do beef jerky, and they got really invigorated and really passionate, which I think is very similar to how Dr. McCann had kind of become aware of the CAPS network. And so then they got connected. They went out to Blue Valley in Kansas and got to see what that looked like. And so then they wanted to bring it back to their school district. So they all came up to the CAPS building. It was perfect timing because it was showcase time. So they got to kind of see all the different work that the students were working on at that point and get to see their presentations. And so toured them around, and everyone's trying to see, like, how would this work on my campus? You want it to be successful. We are taking a pause based on enrollment for the next year for the CAPS program. So we didn't have as many students sign up as we needed. So we're gonna figure out what this could look like. Does it need to be the same periods? Do we wanna just do it on campus? Like, kind of a whole year of kind of trying to figure that out. But the best part about it is that in this coursework, our students are figuring out how to communicate with businesses, how to have a face-to-face conversation and the different forms of communication. Like a lot of our students probably feel like they send an email one time and I've communicated. Or they'll text, but they don't want to pick up the phone and follow up, or they don't even know that, well, I sent the message, they haven't got back to me. Well, then yeah, you gotta circle back. Like, just one message doesn't really do it. So it's learning those communication skills that will help them throughout their life, and then kind of creating some of these experiences and resume items that they'll be able to carry with them throughout the rest of their life too. So yes, it's a great opportunity, and we're using state-of-the-art equipment. It takes place at Wisdom Ridge Academy, or at the Innovation Caps building. They're kind of a shared campus. And then it's really exciting because next year, Cascadia Tech is going to be on the other side of that building, so that's really awesome. They're running their electrical program out of there. So just more opportunities to follow. So Cascadia Tech is Skills Center from back in the day. That's what I remember it as. We have 4 strands that we ran through the CAPS program: digital design, engineering, business and marketing, and then health sciences. And so now I get to showcase some of the collaboration and the work that happened this last year. There is a great partnership with the Department of Fish and Wildlife. Students in previous years have created coloring books. The project that they did this year was those are all student created stickers, and they did them by region. That was essentially Fish and Wildlife will be able to print out those stickers and hand them out in their front offices. Another project that has been super fun this year and is near and dear to everyone's heart is the Osprey Cam, and then the special video that Randy posted on his own feed. Real life things, right? Like other real world problems to solve. And I guess that was the piece that I missed at the very beginning. Is that clock actually working? No, it's not, is it? Okay.
It's 9.
Is it? Oh my gosh.
You're fine.
Okay. So sorry. I'll speed through. See, this is why she had to go first, because I could talk forever. So the whole point of CAPS is that we go to businesses to find the 10th thing on their list. And if I've sat with you, you've heard the spiel that what is that thing that you never get to, that maybe if we gave it to students that they could solve the problem. And so that's basically the deal, is trying to figure out what could those be. And often in those meetings, we come up with all kinds of ideas, right? It's not just one idea, it's not just 2 ideas. We come up with a laundry list of ideas. And I always say that those are things that students might get to, they may never be interested in working on that project, which is one situation, or it might not happen this semester, it could happen next semester. So depending on your need, we've got more time to kind of focus on that, but that's the main gist of that. We'll go on to the next ones. Passport. Oh, look, that one, let's play too. That was one of Renee's amazing ideas that really was such a wonderful project that it turned into a 2-semester project for students. That's something that can be used to this day. Basically, it's kind of like McMiniman's Passport. A wonderful music video that the students created. That one, I definitely recommend taking a peek, checking it out. It also showcases Ridgefield in that video, which is amazing. The gratitude boxes that turned into a gumball machine. So fun. There were more projects. I actually have to thank this room for the Trails project, because that was something that the city of Ridgefield presented on, and in this room someone was like, that sounds like a great project for students, and I was like, yes it does. So let's connect with Chuck and see how we can make that happen. And then he connected with me with Corey Crownhart. There was a daycation video that I'm sure many of you have probably seen. Students were able to go out and walk 5 different trails and learn what all of the different markers were and the type of material that they're made out of, if it's bark dust or if they're paved. We partnered with Bounce and Battle, and the students were able to create a wonderful video to showcase the equipment that they rent out. And he's just a wonderful individual to work with anyway. Photography project. There were multiple projects that also happened at Pomeroy Farms. We had a student that was designing a playground. There was also a coloring book that got created, and also some wonderful photography. So it's amazing, all the work that can happen with 25 to 35 different students during a semester. Okay, middle school. These were many of the events that happened last year. We do a medical day to kind of help to showcase all of the different types of work that people can do in the medical field, whether that's they have arms with a tourniquet, you can do compressions in CPR, they will have people in paramedics or firefighters come out and you can try on the equipment, all kinds of stuff. And then we did a reverse career fair that many of you got to try out with us. It was our first endeavor. Lots of things that worked great, some things that we can do better, but essentially what a reverse career fair is, it's kind of like a science fair where students will put together a presentation on some kind of a project, but in this situation, they're researching a career. And to some degree, it might be they may have learned what they're gonna make in that career or what kind of education they're gonna need. And so they were presenting that to people in the community and then also to their peers and then the kids that were in younger grades too. So that was a really fun experience. And things that we'll do differently next year for sure. And then this was our second annual STEM Industry Day. This year it happened in June. There were 26 different businesses that come out, and it's a hands-on industry fair. The whole goal is for students to be able to, for 10 minutes, have a meaningful experience with a different business. They don't get to make it through all the businesses. They get to make it through about 4 of them. And we had a Clark PUD bucket truck. There were people in a bunny suit. The whole point is for them to kind of get a feel or awareness of different businesses that are out in the world and jobs that might exist. Okay. So I was passing around the clipboard. There's a survey link. So in the past, we have kind of captured everyone's information and then added it to our own spreadsheet. But now it just kind of makes more sense to have anyone interested in helping to fill out the survey, and then you can select what areas of CTE you're interested in, what different supports that you might be interested in. Do you want to come and talk to students? Do you want to be a guest speaker? Do you have some kind of a connection to a different business, or do you have something that might be showcased in our STEM Industry Day or a medical day? And feel free to share out that QR code with anybody else, or I'll send you the survey link. But if you're interested in being a board member, we do mock interviews with our students too, and we've done that a variety of different ways. We also partnered this last year with Goodwill. They not only will they come out and run mock interviews, they have all kinds of wonderful enrichment information, whether that is about scam awareness or stress management. And that was a really fun adventure because we had the students kind of decide, hey, these are, of the menu of programs that they offer, this is what we want to learn about. And they were really interested in, like I mentioned, scam awareness, which who would have thought, but it was great. We all learned about HTTPS, how to safely navigate the internet. Or if there's a demo that you might be interested in, or many businesses have the ability to tour us around, like Alpha Irons, come check us out. Nothing helps students to see what the work environment might look like actually going to see it themselves. Last year, we had a program area emphasis by month. And we're going to be doing the same thing this next year. We're shifting some of the months a little bit, and we might even partner classes together to allow more opportunities or for more students to see, or really they're kind of connected. If you're in a foods class, you probably may be running a business at some day, so it would be beneficial for you to experience that learning as well. And then just a list of the different field trips that we hosted last year. And then, so that was Dozer Days. We got to see the groundbreaking at Boschma Farms. And then we also, I think it's in there, we also grand opened our CTE Construction Trades building. And then in conjunction with that, we had a mini trade show with a number of businesses that came out that were related. So it was kind of a fun little in-class opportunity that connected to the main event, which was the ribbon cutting. Okay, and then one other thing, since I have you, this year I am the district's McKinney-Vento liaison. By law, every district is required to have a McKinney-Vento liaison. And what that means is that in the event that you might become aware of someone that is experiencing homelessness, that doesn't have regular, fixed, or adequate housing, that means that maybe they are doubled up living with someone, or they are living in a place where there's not sufficient room, then I would love for you guys to let me know, and then I can connect with them and then see if they qualify for McKinney-Vento. So Vancouver Housing Authority's definition is more so that someone's living on the streets or in their car, but the federal McKinney-Vento Act is more fixed, adequate, and regular. So that is definitely not a one-size-fits-all. So it's basically every situation has to be evaluated separately. So
could you clarify, that is for people with students?
Yes. So with students in the district. So yes, if they're just, good point, good clarification, yes. And the reason that this exists is because we're trying to provide educational continuity to the students. So we want them to be successful in life, and that potentially could mean staying at the school that you were at. So they call that the school of origin. So by law, they have the right to continue to go to school even if they have had to move to Woodland, or if they had to move to someplace in Vancouver. And part of the requirement is that we can help support them with transportation. And there's a whole host of requirements if they are in need of medical support or mental health or housing. So basically the liaison's role is to provide resources. Like, I can't provide you with a house, don't have a house to give you or the funds to help you get into a house, but I can connect you with people that could provide housing supports. And there's varying levels, right? Because people come into these situations for a variety of reasons, and you know, you might, like, some shelters don't allow an entire family to be there. It's only for women and children. So it depends on the situation, and it does require there to be some kind of an economic hardship for it to qualify. So a foreclosure, some kind of, you know, violence of some sort, which is not like checking boxes here. It's just, that's the situation. And I don't know if Chris has anything to add. No? Okay.
I know. I mean, Jody's doing a great job. I mean, she picked up a big baton to carry. So, and she's really easy to work with. So I will say, as we all know, that our resources are limited, especially in North County, and we don't have shelter in North County. So Jody will refer the families to me, and then I sit with them and try to attach them to appropriate resources. Yeah. So, and we are, you guys, I know all of you that look around, you've heard me blabble all the time about this, but we are at the highest of being in this community now. I've been here 21 years. We're at the highest number of homeless youth that we've had, right? Which is not a number that we want to hear, but it is a number that speaks to people's heart. I believe we're around 120, you know, and when we first started, I think we got to about 80, but it's not a number that we're proud of by any means, but it is a number that we will serve, and we are dedicated to make sure that people feel cared for, and that, you know, and we meet them where they are. So just know that by, you know, that is our main goal. So Jimmy.
Yeah. And often
yeah,
it's,
thank you, Jody.
Absolutely. Often it's, which segues nicely into this, it is what we can provide is connections. And if I have to pick up the phone and call, Vancouver Housing Authority and say, hey, I've got this scenario, I will do that. But first step is usually giving them a list of here's where you call. And then I've also reached out to the Council for the Homeless because they have a huge list of different options, like 12 pages of opportunities for people to try to find that fixed housing that's stable, where they know where they're going to go sleep every night. They're not couch surfing. So that's kind of what that looks like. And then our greatest partner when it comes to McKinney-Vento is the Family Resource Center because, like Chris will tell me time and time again, that is where if we can provide them with those food resources, maybe that alleviates some of their resources to be able to afford to pay for their rent or their electric bill and all of those things. And we are so fortunate to be in such a giving community where people are constantly providing cereal and there's a green bag drive this weekend. And so there's clothing galore. And then we're also partnered with Compassion 360 to be able to provide other resources like, beds and things like that we just can't do. So it's a wonderful, there's all these little things. And so I always make sure that people know about that. And then the other upcoming event that we have is the Back to School Bash that's on August 17th. So that is something where people can get haircuts, or kids can, they can get school supplies, and just a variety of other resources. It's from 9 until 2 at Davis Park on the 17th. So it's in conjunction with the Saturday Farmers Market.
So please also remember that there's Neighbors Helping Neighbors that feeds families on Tuesdays. So, we're up to 50 to 60 families a week now, but please also refer them there because there's always food there for people. So, yeah.
That's perfect. Yes. That is the beauty of our community, right? If I don't have the connection, you might. Lots of information on there. There's also let's see, that's the link. There's a link on the previous slide. I can do this. There's a video on McKinney-Vento that we made to supplement our Safe Schools training for our district staff that kind of walks you through the different types of like the McKinney-Vento versus unaccompanied youth and just kind of elaborates a little bit more. So many videos in here, but that's kind of that link there. And then that link will take you to the Family Resource Center website. And then that is the end. Sorry for going so far over.
Fine.
Are there any questions? I know we segued right into me, but after, yes, Mike.
You see any CTE partnership opportunities with Clark College with the first building coming up?
Oh, yes. Yeah, 100%. So the ground floor is going to, I'm probably telling you things you already know, but the ground floor is going to be the advanced manufacturing area. And then they're also going to be having 5 or 6 general ed classrooms on the second floor. So not only is there CTE opportunities, there's great opportunities for our Running Start students to be able to attend locally and not have to go to the downtown campus. So yes, I'm super excited about Cascadia Tech coming in to the Wisdom Ridge campus because I think they're running classes in the morning and the afternoon with about 60 students in each class. And then also, we've recently added dual credit articulations at Clark College. That was new last school year. We have another one that's coming on this year in it's baking and pastries that they accepted. So we've just been ramping those up too. So it's always interesting working with Clark because go ahead.
I was just gonna say, dual credit is when they get credit for their high school course, they also get college credit.
Yes. So it's amazing because you get to be at high school, but you're still earning college credit. So it's kind of a win-win. So, but yes, I definitely think that that's going to be a great opportunity for all students, whether it's CCTE or just Running Start students. Yes.
Yeah, I was wondering, the CCTE program, is it offered from freshmen on or like the CAPS I know is just the upper class?
CCTE coursework can start as a freshman. So health is CCTE. which is, just like learning about all kinds of, I think there's they learn CPR, it's just basic kind of health. That is a freshman course. We have American Sign Language they can take as a freshman, welding. There's a lot of the classes that don't have a prerequisite, so that means you don't have to take something else before you can take one of those classes. So they can take CCTE courses freshman through senior year.
And they actually begin in the 7th grade
There you go.
at the middle school. We have 7th grade CCTE courses that all of our STEM courses are part of that.
Okay, thank you. Yes, thank you. Awesome. Go, Randy.
Maybe more of a comment for Dr. Rodriguez. Thank you very much. Hearing the kind of the commentary there on the openness and transparency. We've got a mostly fresh school board. We have a fresh superintendent. This really is a fresh start. I think a lot of us see it that way. And so we're just really excited. Thinking about kind of that reaching out. You mentioned maybe looking at the mission, looking at the vision, maybe some strategic planning. That's fantastic. I think this community, the Port found ourselves in a similar boat where we went to pick up the discussion on the waterfront, and in the 10 years since we'd done outreach, the population had tripled, and so 2/3 of this community never had a chance to weigh in on that. And I think, again, it's probably about that old on the school district side, so you've got a situation where most of this community never had a chance to participate in the planning or share their thoughts in the development of those. So I think it'd be welcome and appreciated everywhere.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. The board is excited. I think I appreciate how much I have felt the welcome from the community and the desire for a fresh start. So I couldn't ask for a better situation to walk into. That so many people are wanting to be a part of the work. And it is, the current strategic plan is a decade old. And you're right, there just weren't a lot of fingerprints on it. And as a leader, I think for people to be invested, they have to be a part of the creation of. And that is what we want. We want everyone in our community to feel invested in our school district and our student success.
We're all excited. Like she mentioned vibe at the very beginning, and I live my life in that way too. So I am so excited to have Jenny because it just, where there's only up from here, right? Like it's amazing.
Thank you both. I mean, just really a sense of pride, I think, and especially another display of how important partnerships are. And it's just super exciting. Thank you both. Another really great partner in town is the Raptors, and celebrating a really great season. Gus is here for a report.
All right, thank you.
Go Raptors.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks, the school district discussion is really great because nobody likes uncertainty. And now we have a little bit of certainty moving forward. So we just are finishing our 5th season, 6th year. We had COVID. We're going to have brought over 40,000 people to the park this summer. And that's a little bit of growth. We ran into hot weather for 5 days, and that sent me into a mental state of depression. But I just want to highlight a couple things. I want to highlight the 50 or 60 kids that we employ during the summer. They're high school kids and they're young college kids. That is really important. We couldn't operate without it. Unfortunately, we throw them in there, we train them, and then they get the first 2 nights, and there's 1,800 people in there, and they get smashed. But they have done just a wonderful job, and it continues to be an employment opportunity around here that really we can be proud of, and we don't think of enough as to what that means. We also have interns that are a little bit more elevated. They usually come back for year 2 or 3. We have 2 of them as full-time employees right now. And we have others. Judy asked me who I was sitting with the other night, and I was sitting with 2 past interns. One's a CPA, and the other one is a financial advisor at Edward Jones. That means a lot to us. But there's some highlights during the summer. Our vision, because when the vision got put up for the school district, our vision is still the same basically from the beginning, which is that we are stewards of the community and Southwest Washington, Ridgefield and Southwest Washington. It's a community gathering place, and that's something that we never forget. And that's how we run it, which is with respect and trying to take care of all the little problems so that people can feel comfortable there. And we really don't have major problems. They're humans there, and there will be times that we have to deal with stuff. But it's that gathering place, and it's affordable family entertainment. You know, school district night had over 2,200 people. And when they talk about transparency and about communication, I think that that's why we're able to have really successful nights with the school district, is because Joni and Danielle have worked so closely with us on really pounding and promoting that it's fun, that it's free for students and for teachers and for administrators. And it shows up, right? But anyway, we've had a great year. The weather sucked in the middle, but I can't control that. Yeah, well, a week before it got really hot, I was thinking about rain, so it's just what it is. But we've had a really good year. We're going to make the playoffs for the 4th year in a row. That is both a curse and a blessing. The curse is that many of you ask me that all the time, and when the team's not doing well, that's a discussion we always have. But remember, let's not take our eye off the ball as to why we're there. We're Ridgefield. We're bringing people to our community. People are still enjoying it. We know that because it's growing. And sometimes they're kids, and sometimes they don't play well, but they have played really well the last half of the season. Saturday, it looks like, will be the playoff game at home, and it looks like that may be the only playoff game at home, just the way it landed. But we're really proud of it, and just wanted to say thank you to everybody that's contributed just a little bit. It's stressful 70 days for us, but our preparation with you guys before the season is really what matters, and we'll be back out there. I'd love a field trip day, and I'm just trying to figure that out. So anyway, any questions, concerns? There's a survey coming out today or tomorrow. We love feedback. You know, we had a couple goals this year. One is that we're putting a lot of pressure on that infrastructure at that park. We didn't anticipate that we would that fast, and that meant that we added some things. We added a tent in left field at the left field platform. That was for groups to keep them out of the weather. We added a food truck that we purchased this year, and that took the pressure off the concession with a little variety of food. You're going to see a little more variety maybe coming out of there. And again, I think that my team isn't perfect, and they'll never be perfect because it's a mad scramble once we put the cards on the table and shake them up. But what you saw more capable people running the park without me, because the more I push, the less it happens. So it requires really good leadership to be able to run the park in a way where, yeah, there's minor complaints, but hopefully nothing too big. Anyway, any questions? No? Thank you for all the support.
Congratulations. Thank you again for coming. Is there any other announcements that need to be made while we're all here?
I just want to do one little more plug for the back to school bash on the
Yes.
17th. I just want to be sure that people understand our district is not, we are unable to supply school supplies for our students. You know, we don't have enough free and reduced. Our census data as a community is too high as far as our median income. So we rely on all the donations from community to be able to serve students. So the backpacks that we hand out were donated from community. The school supplies that I purchase the money's donated from community. And as I look around here, all of you are such critical pieces to what we do. So thank you for that. And we're excited to see how well attended it was. Last year we gave out school supplies to 400 students, and then in the FCRC afterwards I had like 300 more students. So I anticipate that number to be higher. So anyway, thank you for all your support and donations.
And what are the hours of that?
Yeah, it's from 9 to 2. 9 to 1 really is when, I mean, we tell people to show up at 9, but we are in collaboration with the farmers market. Hidden Oasis is going to do haircuts. It's a super fun time. We're moving back to where we were prior to COVID. So next year will even be bigger and better.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, good. All right, thank you for being here. Have a great day. We'll see you next. Oh, sorry.
For donations, you want them before that, it would be amazing.